Hi guys, and welcome to your weekly horoscope. This one is for Monday the 4th of April going through until Sunday the 10th of April 2022. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to go through each day this week to see what relationships the planets form with one another, what energy that brings up, and how you can use that energy to your advantage. So hopefully this horoscope gives you something concrete and useful to go on. What I noticed about the next 7 days is that you're going to have a lot of inspired ideas. So if things have felt kind of dull or flat recently, you're not going to have the same issue this week. And then also your connection with institutions and groups of people is supported early on in the week, and it becomes much more difficult later on. So if you're applying for jobs, or if you're trying to solidify your relationship with an institution or a company, or you're trying to get on the board of a charity, foundation, anything like that, do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You'll have a much easier time of it. Monday, the 4th of April, we've got the Taurus moon forming a square with Mars, Saturn, and Venus in Aquarius. And I feel that this placement of Mars, Saturn, and Venus is responsible for a lot of the conflict we've seen, and even this sense of it's me against the world. Venus changes signs on Tuesday, the 5th of April. It moves into Pisces, so that softens up a lot, which is nice and welcome. But on Monday, you get the most out of it because Mars is about desire and drive. In Aquarius, it wants to learn as much as it can. Saturn in Aquarius gives you great respect for the wisdom of other people, and you can align yourself with groups of people. And Venus in Aquarius says, if I want to start anything new, I need to be informed. The square to the Taurus moon, which is an earth sign, it allows you to take abstract info and to translate it into practical action very easily. So if you're trying to make changes happen in your life, you know exactly how and where to go to get the answers. The Taurus moon also trines Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto is the planet of transformation and change. And in Capricorn, it's also in an earth sign. It's in the sign of the worker. So you're very willing to work with change and to affect change, to make an effort to get things to look different and to feel different and to fill out the forms and to go different places and to look at other practical options. So you're willing to go with the flow and to work with the process as it is. Then the Taurus moon sextiles Jupiter, the lucky planet, and Neptune, the planet of dreams and intuition and emotions, and both of them are in the water sign Pisces. So not only do you know where to go to get real world info, like I need to know something about this topic, so I'm going to Google it and go on Wikipedia and find out about it, but also by connecting in a spiritual way, you'll get very concrete information, which is useful. So that's kind of similar to last week because you have access to all these resources. And if you're trying to figure something out, you're very unlikely to be stumped here on Monday. Mars in Aquarius then conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. So that gives you a great focus on a particular issue. And you're not going to rest or become discouraged until you get the answer that you're looking for, or the answer that is accurate and that you can then use to problem solve. So Monday is a great day to learn and to acquire a new practical skill. If you have an interest in feng shui or nutrition, crystals, maps, landscape design, architecture, tattoos, anything that combines abstract information and the physical world, you'll be able to understand that very easily and to hone your skills and your expertise. Meditation and a spiritual connection is also going to help you in making changes in your life because it gives you this sense of warmth and support. And yes, I can do these things. And you are able to get your foot in the door when it comes to approaching institutions or groups of people. Tuesday, the 5th of April, we've got the moon going into Gemini at 4 minutes past 5 in the morning. So the moon comes out of the earth sign Taurus and moves into the air sign Gemini, which is much more about communication and thinking in an abstract way. So your ability to understand is heightened even more on Tuesday, but you're also able to have more fun and to do things which seem to be frivolous and that are just for you, that don't necessarily have a concrete and practical outcome. Venus does enter Pisces at 18 minutes past 5 in the afternoon. So Venus is love and connection and beauty. And in Pisces, it means your imagination is fired up and you're able to see the beautiful things in any circumstance, whereas before you may have missed that. So you bring a lot more to any situation just because your perspective alters. The Gemini moon then sextiles Chiron in Aries. So having fun and exploring and doing things which seem fresh and new, that's going to feel healing and will build your confidence. And overall on Tuesday, I feel with Venus making that shift and then the combination to the moon, you're able to find the solution to a personal problem that exists internally and that's been unresolved for a while. Talking therapy and sharing your ideas and plans for the future with a professional or friends or family, that's going to open new doors of opportunity and you'll receive information that you hadn't considered before. If you are a writer or you work creatively in any field, as a musician or as a performer, you'll come up with some amazing new material that you can then translate in a practical sense to your book, the novel you're writing, your act, your performance, whatever it may be. Wednesday, the 6th of April, we've got the Gemini moon forming a square with Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces. So that is almost like you're building a bridge to the higher realms. So if you sometimes, we all get guidance from our guides, our angels and things, but sometimes it's difficult to decipher what is genuine guidance and what comes from the ego or what we've heard from other people. With this combo, Jupiter, good luck, and Neptune, your intuitions, you're able to understand that very easily. So basically, you're in a good place, you know what you want, you know what's important to you and what you would like to happen. And then it trines Mars and Saturn in Aquarius. So that still gives you this ability to do your research and to understand things very easily. And it sextiles Mercury, the Sun, and Chiron in Aries. So that brings a lot of fire into the chart now. And as soon as you understand something and you see what you need to do to affect change, you're going to be on that so quickly and you'll want to take action. So you're very interested in your life purpose and building your life in such a way that it seems to be exciting and a feeling of I'm getting somewhere, I'm making progress, that becomes very important to you, and that in itself then feels healing. If I'm on the right track, then I feel good about myself. If I'm in limbo here and if I'm being passive or incredibly inactive, that's not going to feel as good. So on Wednesday, I wrote down here that you're able to be an alchemist. You're able to transform a negative experience or memory into something positive, and you can see how you can use a bad experience and get it to work in your favor. So one, you've been there before, you don't have to repeat it, you can avoid the potential pitfalls in a situation, or you're able to see the good stuff. Like for instance, if you've been rejected and you know what that feels like, then of course you're going to be much more useful to someone else who's going through the same thing because you've been there yourself. You're likely to have compassion and empathy. Self-care and personal healing are supported on Wednesday, the 6th of April. So if there's something that troubles you or that's a real thorn in your side, look at that and focus on it a little bit. You'll be able to make a lot of inner progress and to free yourself up. Thursday, the 7th of April, we have the Gemini moon now forming a quincunx with Pluto in Capricorn. That gives you a lightness of being. Anything that seems outside of your control or any circumstance that's kind of unwelcome, you're not going to take it so seriously, and you have the ability to take a philosophical approach and to say things like, well, could be worse. So you're not going to get like so into something and lose perspective of the bigger picture. Mercury in Aries makes you very opinionated. It does want you to be on track and to be productive and to get things done. And it sextiles Saturn in Aquarius. That's kind of interesting because what I said at the beginning of this horoscope is that from Thursday onwards, it becomes more challenging to get your foot in the door when it comes to institutions and groups. But the interesting thing is that you really want to belong on Thursday. So you're much pushier when it comes to that side of things. And maybe that's why it's more challenging, because you need it more. It's like it's something that you start to chase on Thursday. So again, that complicates things and it ups the ante and it makes it more emotional and frazzling if something doesn't go your way. So again, if you have to connect with these organizations and groups, do that early on in the week. The moon enters Cancer at 5:30 in the afternoon. So Cancer is a water sign. It's a cardinal sign that's concerned with the family and loving connections and the domestic side of life. So that allows you to take care of yourself much more, and personal relationships become less challenging. Okay, so yes, so that's also interesting because the focus is now less on the public and strangers and your profession, and it's more about your home life. And it gives you a greater need to belong. So again, you see the connection with institutions and things out there is a lot more challenging now. The Cancer moon then trines Venus and Pisces. So that's great for family relationships and also romantic relationships, and having a great intuitive sense of, this is someone where we do have a natural rapport going. This could lead to something. So trust your gut on that. On Thursday, with the added pressure of Mercury in Aries and the moon going into Cancer, lashing out or being aggressive isn't going to work in your favor. That may not come as a big surprise, but sometimes we feel that, hey, if I really, speak firmly and assertively, it's going to resolve my issues. But on Thursday, that will backfire. So if you come across as pushy or as bossy, people are much more likely to back away from that kind of energy. There may be a barrier now happening between you and other people, especially in the public sphere. So even explaining yourself or trying to get someone else to understand you, that all becomes much more challenging. So if you find yourself going on about why you did certain things and what your intentions were, and you feel you're being very loving and open, it's very unlikely to be received in the way you mean it. What is helpful and what's going to be a lot easier to work with is creative expression, particularly if you're working in a practical way, flower arranging or pottery or writing music or painting. That's a good way to get your point across and then to have it exist in its own right, rather than trying to get people to listen to you and to understand you, and then to wait for that little glint in their eye when the penny drops, they've heard me. All of that stuff is much more complicated. On Friday, the 8th of April, we've got the moon in Cancer forming a square with Chiron and the sun, both of which are in the fire sign Aries, and it sextiles Uranus and Taurus. So because Cancer is cardinal, it's like the magician in the tarot almost. It says it's my job to make things happen. If I want to have loving relationships, I need to initiate and get things done for myself. And then Aries also being a fire sign, but also being cardinal, it's very much about my needs and what I want. And that's what I feel complicates a lot of your relationships, because you're so invested in yourself. On the plus side, you can heal yourself and you can express yourself creatively. But if you're trying to influence or give instructions, you come across as too much. And again, people are likely to back off from that. The sextile with Uranus and Taurus, if there is anything that's outside of your control or any challenges that arise, any surprising news that you get, you're not going to be overly depressed about that. If anything, you'll see those as a challenge. It's like, oh, good, something for me to throw myself at and to work with. So you're very strong, and it's very unlikely that you become overwhelmed. this week, and here on Friday particularly. Mercury in Aries then sextiles Mars in Aquarius. So be careful with that, because if you look at information and you feel like you've created meaning and you've got the right answer, then anything or anyone who disagrees with you or seems to challenge you, you're going to say, well, it's my job to educate them and to make sure they understand this the way I do. So again, that can come across as you being on a high horse or something like that. So on Friday, self-care and creating change that will benefit you first and foremost, that's going to feel easy and doable and manageable. So if something scared you in the past, put your effort into affecting real change there. That's where you're going to thrive. It's the ideal day if you're looking to change your work, your living situation, or even the way you create an income for yourself. If you want to change your look, your appearance, like if you want to have a makeover, it's also a great day to make that change happen. Because again, there isn't going to be the usual fear or reluctance. You're just willing to take a risk here. That's something I haven't mentioned. All this confidence, if there's something in life that usually scares you, looking at that and embracing it, that's going to feel like a thrill and a challenge and something that's actually exciting and fun rather than scary. So similar to Thursday, aggression is still something to stay away from, and influencing other people and trying to convince them that your point of view is right, that's going to be noticeably fruitless. You're not going to get the outcome that you imagine. Saturday, the 9th of April, we've got the Cancer moon now opposing Pluto in Capricorn. And that's kind of interesting because the day before, anything that was surprising was like, oh, great, it's got something I can sink my teeth into. On Saturday, it's more likely to get you to shut down and to say, oh, really? Another thing I have to deal with? So you become less willing to cooperate and to do the work on Saturday. It squares the Sun and Mercury in Aries, so you want your way more of the time. So your patience is much smaller. And then it trines Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces and quincunxes Saturn and Mars in Aquarius. So your connection with your higher self and your ability to do research, that's still there. So the only thing to watch out for on Saturday, I think, is this personal unwillingness to do the work. You still have all the tools at your disposal, so you're still as effective as you've been all week. So you can continue to have these amazing inspired ideas and these aha moments. The good thing about Saturday is that you're going to have major compassion for the plight of other people. It's going to feel super satisfying to work with a charity and to donate your time and effort to a good cause, something that you care about. And that you'll get a lot out of that personally, and you'll be able to make some good new connections. I think the key here is to take self-will out of it a bit and to not be pushy, but to give of yourself instead. So with that said, if you're looking for job opportunities, actually giving yourself freely and kind of demonstrating your skills, that may lead to a new role. So that's interesting, because I wouldn't recommend that usually. I wouldn't say, oh, just work for nothing and just give, because something good may happen. A lot of people exploit that, like internships and stuff like that. So I'm kind of cautious about things like that. But the truth is, and on Saturday here particularly, if you do engage with people and it's something where you want to give, other people may notice that, hey, this person is very good in this area, maybe we should hire them. Yeah, so doing and demonstrating is going to be much more effective on Saturday than talking about it and telling people where you are good at and where you excel. Actually, performing it is going to convince people. So what actions speak louder than words on Saturday, the 9th of April. Finally, on Sunday, the 10th of April, we've got the moon going into Leo at 6 in the morning. So that builds your confidence even more, and it also gives you a willingness to step into the limelight and to lead. So still be careful around being kind of pushy. The Leo moon then squares Uranus and Taurus. At least you're willing to do the work again and to deal with unforeseen circumstances. It trines Chiron in Aries and quincunxes Venus in Pisces. So problem solving is going to seem like something that you do for yourself that's loving and positive, and you'll see new opportunities as a result of problems that are solved step by step, if that makes sense. So you can prove to yourself, hey, I am strong, I am capable, I am competent in this area, therefore I'll also be able to do this in future. Mercury in Aries squares Pluto and Capricorn. I want to problem solve, I want to deal with things that usually scare me. And then Mercury, the communication planet, it moves into Taurus on Monday. So things are going to calm down in the week ahead. With Mercury being in Aries, it's this desire to make progress. So channel that into things where you do have some control, not to convince other people of your rightness. So with the added fire coming into the chart on Sunday, you may feel somewhat restless and unsettled on Sunday, and that could lead to you wanting to change the way you feel in an artificial manner. So I'm stressed out, I'm going to smoke a cigarette, or I had a bad dream, so I'm going to have a drink. Try and avoid those things. They're going to make it even more murky and difficult. Exercise, staying busy and productive, and being out in nature, those are the things that are going to work best and give you a sense of calm. Complaining, challenging others, or saying, okay, right, I'm going to give you a piece of my mind here, that's going to cause more conflict and is still likely to backfire, same way it was going to backfire earlier in the week. And because Mercury changes signs on Monday, things are going to cool off and become much calmer, and you're going to be much more focused on practical concerns on Sunday night moving into Monday. So if there is an area, like a concrete area in your life where you do need to push and where you need to overcome your own fears, try and do it this week, because you'll be able to have a breakthrough. So lots of ideas, lots of energy, lots of progress available to you this week. But just take care not to get into it with other people in a way that isn't fun or productive. So I hope that does give you something, an idea of what you'll be working with. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, you'll see a button that says book your reading. Click on that to order your personal reading with me. In my personal readings, I use astrology, the tarot, and numerology. To draw up your natal chart, your birth chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, I can use sunrise, or I can rectify your chart. That's a process where you send me 10 or more life events, and then I'm actually able to work out your time of birth. Once I've got that info, then I get a snapshot of the sky at the moment you were born, and your chart really says a lot about you. It holds a lot of information in itself. So if you're working on understanding your life purpose, what you're going to be good at career-wise, or what your strengths and weaknesses are, what you need to work on or what you'd like to work on, what's coming up for you in relationships or finance or travel or moving or spiritual development. I look at what's coming up in future by drawing up your progress chart and your transits. I put those around your natal chart in a tri-wheel, and it kind of shows me how you've changed over time and what's coming up over the next couple of months and years. And I also use astrocartography when it comes to locations and which places are going to work for you, make life easier, and which areas are often more challenging for you specifically. If you have any questions around any of that, then please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe and share the video online. That helps the channel to keep going by sharing the information with people who may not be aware of it just yet. So if you could do that for me, that would be amazing. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll speak to you for the daily tarot readings on this channel the special astrology videos on the new moons and full moons, and all the other little videos I've got on the channel. So have a great week, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best.